I monetized my channel on March 13th of 2023, and today I'm going to talk about how much money I've made on YouTube in my first 30 days as a creator with only 1,500 subscribers. What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. Hi if you're new here, hi if you're not. My name's Danielle. I make content here on YouTube, and today we're going to talk about how much money I'm making as a YouTube paid partner. Now, personally, I find this content to be very, very interesting. I have watched tons and tons of videos of creators talking about how much YouTube paid them in a year, how much they made in their first month, 6 months, etc., etc. But in my viewing, I've found that there aren't a lot of creators with small followings that are monetized who talk about how much money they make. So when I first got monetized as a creator, I literally assumed that in my first month I would make like $5. And to my surprise, that was not the case. And so I thought it might be interesting to share the insider information with those of you who are also interested in this type of content. Also, I think just in general, I'm a pretty big advocate for not gatekeeping information, especially when it comes to pay transparency, because how much money is in my bank account doesn't really make a difference to you. And I think it kind of just helps if we can have these open discussions honestly about what it actually looks like to be a paid creator. So all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So at this point in time, you may or may not know what the YouTube Partner Program is, but essentially it's just a way for eligible creators to make money on YouTube. To become a YouTube partner, you have to meet the program's eligibility requirements, which are to have at least 1,000 subscribers and have 4,000 watch time hours within the last 12 months, as well as make sure that you're following all of YouTube's guidelines and terms and conditions. And I'm not sure about everyone, but from the few creators that I've talked to and the ones that I'm friends with, I think that for most creators on YouTube, it's much easier to reach the 1,000 subscribers than it is to build up enough watch time hours to reach monetization. However, that being said, if your experience has been opposite, please let me know in the comments. So I thought for this video, it would be helpful for me to give you a little bit of context of what my YouTube journey has looked like. Now, if you go to my YouTube channel, you will see on my profile that it says I started my channel October 16th of 2014, which makes it sound like I've been creating YouTube videos for over a decade. But this is a lie. Well, not entirely, but essentially my YouTube account has been linked to the same Gmail account that I've had for like a decade. And in the past, I used to use this channel to create like travel montages and fun little videos that I would share with my friends and my family. And then at one point during the pandemic, I was running a yoga business and I was live streaming yoga classes. And so I used my YouTube channel to stream those classes. But at no point in time was I actively like creating YouTube content or trying to grow a YouTube channel. And any of those older videos have since been deleted or privated. And so all that to say, I didn't start on my current YouTube journey of creating specific content until July of 2022. And so you can actually see that on this graph here that I'll put on the screen, that my channel was basically flatlined until that point in July of last year. And so on July 8th of 2022, I posted my first video and I started out with a whopping 93 subscribers. As in, I had accumulated 93 subscribers from 2014 until 2022. Not that my first video that I posted got me 93 subscribers, because that would be pretty wild. So from July of last year until December 31st, I gained 344 subs, which honestly, I was pretty happy about this. I was averaging anywhere from like 1 to 5 new subscribers a day using YouTube Shorts, and I actually explained that process in this video right here. For the majority of 2022, I was posting every day on YouTube Shorts and then one long form video a week, usually on Fridays. When I started in January 1st, 2023, my goal for this year was to essentially reach 1,000 subs by December of 2023, and then to also have accumulated all of my watch time hours by that time. But I knew at that point in time that it was going to be a slog to make that happen. And this was for a couple reasons. First one being, any watch time hours that you accumulate through YouTube Shorts don't actually count towards your overall channel watch time hours for monetization. And so even though I had over 400 subscribers by January 1st, my watch time hours were sitting at like 150. And so what I was doing at this time was I was very carefully monitoring the performance of my content and seeing what content was performing really well and then what content wasn't performing at all. And I think that this is a really, really important thing, that if you're someone who's trying to monetize your channel, the analytics of your content is something that you really actually need to be paying attention to in order to stop just creating videos that you think are interesting, but to actually kind of listen to what the audience is telling you through their views in terms of like what is actually interesting to them. And so in doing this, I started to notice this trend that a lot of my anti-scam commentary was performing significantly better than my business content. So rather than ditching the business content altogether, because that's something that's just on like a fundamental level very important to me, I decided to double down on making both types of content. And so without really boring you with the specifics of that strategy, if you want to know about it, comment down below and I'll make a separate video. I started to really pay attention to trends in the anti-scam commentary industry, and my channel really took off when I decided to cover the Jessie Lee Ward Colombia trip. And so as you can see here, in February alone, I gained 520 subscribers. And so on this little chart here, you'll see that I posted the first Colombia reaction video on February 1st. And then you can see that by February 6th, I had gained 80 subscribers in just one day. And so this screenshot from my phone shows that by February 22nd, I had surpassed 1,000 subscribers and I was at 1,001. And so it was at this point that I realized I had to reach that 4,000 watch time hours. And I was noticing again in my backend analytics that as my follower count or subscriber count was starting to grow, so too was my watch time hours, just like not quite as steadily. And so the solution that I came up with was to double down on the amount of content that I was producing. And at that point in time, I actually started putting out a video every single day. And I knew that if I doubled my content volume, that my watch time hours would grow quite quickly. And sure enough, by March 11th, I had reached my requirements to apply for the YouTube Partner Program. And so once you meet the eligibility requirements, you are invited to apply for the YouTube Partner Program through your YouTube Studio dashboard. YouTube will then review your application and let you know once you've been approved. And they say that this process can take up to 30 days, but I think I applied on a Saturday and I was approved by that Monday. So I think it really just depends on how many applications they're receiving at any given time. And so then once you're approved, you are now eligible and able to start making money on your YouTube channel in a few different ways, which I'm going to describe. So with the YouTube Partner Program, there are a few different ways that you can make money. The first and most commonly one that's talked about the most commonly one talked about the most, you know what I'm saying, is AdSense or ads that are placed on your YouTube videos. Other ways include things called supers, which are super chats or super stickers that people can send to you during live streams, or people have the ability to add super thanks to your videos, which is essentially them just like giving you a tip for the content you've created. In addition to that, there's also channel memberships, which shameless self-promotion. I just launched my channel membership last week. And it starts as low as $2.99 Canadian. You get early access to all of the videos that I post, as well as a bunch of other perks, which you can check out if you click the join button down below. The last way you can make money through the YouTube Partner Program is to sell merchandise. So you can link a shop to your channel. I haven't done this yet, but I know it's very popular amongst other creators, so you've probably seen it before. As a creator, you also have the ability to choose where in your video ads show up. So for example, I can decide whether or not I want ads to play at the beginning, in the mid-roll, at the end of the video, if I want them to play in one of those places, all of those places, none of those places. It's up to you in the back-end Creator Studio to decide how many ads kind of go on your video. And you can also choose whether or not you want certain videos to be monetized or not at all. In terms of getting paid out by YouTube, YouTube does payouts on a monthly basis, which is why I haven't actually made any money yet, because there is a minimum requirement that you must reach in order for YouTube to pay you out. So I'm based in Canada and the threshold here in Canada is 100 Canadian dollars. And I think by the end of March, I had only made like $87, so I wasn't quite there yet. But once you reach that $100 threshold by the 30th or 31st of the month, you will then get paid out the following month somewhere around the 21st, the total amount for the previous month. So that being said, come May, I should receive my payment for that second half of March plus whatever I make in April. Now, this is the part you've been waiting for, and I've already kind of given some of it away, but let's talk about how much YouTube is paying me for my first 30 days as a partner. Now, again, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, when I first got monetized, I thought I would be making literal pennies. I thought the only way you could actually make any kind of money on YouTube was if you had a massive following and got tons of views on all of your videos. And because not many small creators, like people around 1,000 followers, make this kind of content, I literally had no concept. But to my surprise, I actually made a lot more money than I thought. So on my first day as a YouTube monetized creator, I made a whopping $1.29. Now, to some, this might not be something to be excited about. Like, Danielle, what are you going to buy with $1.29, especially after you pay your income tax on that money? But let me just tell you that I was over the moon when I opened my app the following day and saw that I had made my first dollar on YouTube. This is me, Danielle Ryan, the girl who, when I was 12 years old, would hang out in my mom's basement using our family webcam to record stop motion animation videos. I started making skits on YouTube when I was like 14. That lasted like 6 months. And I literally always dreamed of being a YouTuber, but never took action to like make it become a real thing. I had made my first dollar on YouTube and my childhood dreams were coming true. And so I knew that even though it was only $1.29, it could only go up from here. And so as you can see by this chart here on the screen, the rest of March, it did that. Obviously there's some peaks and some valleys, but overall I was making money consistently every day. And so now is time for the big reveal. In my first 30 days as a YouTube partner, I made $155.39. Now keep in mind, again, I am in Canada. This is in Canadian dollars. And again, honestly, this is much more than I expected. I literally thought I was going to make my first $5 in 30 days and that I would be so happy with that. So to see that I've made like 30 times that is quite incredible, honestly. Now, I thought it might be interesting to give you a little bit of a breakdown of like where all of this money is coming from, because like I mentioned before, it doesn't just come from AdSense. There are multiple different ways that you can get paid from YouTube. So let's go ahead and look at the YouTube analytics breakdown of what this looks like. In the back end of YouTube, you can look at the breakdown of your content. So essentially this means how much money you make from a YouTube video, how much money you're making from YouTube Shorts, how much money you're making from your live content, and so on. So out of my $155, you can see here that I made a grand total of $1.76 from YouTube Shorts, which you will see in a minute, but I had 30,000 views almost on YouTube Shorts and I made $1.76. And then if we look at my long form content where I only had close to 12,000 views, I made almost $90. So $89.40, which again was significantly more than I thought it would be. And then lastly, we have my live content, which brought in a total of $55.90 for 4,000 views. And so it's important to note here that the content totals, particularly on the long form videos and the live content, is again a mix of AdSense revenue, people who have YouTube Premium, and then fan funding, which is again the super thanks, super chats, etc. And so if we look at this information right here, we see that my breakdown for the 30-day period was about 57% from watch page ads, which again is ads on your videos, 27% came from fan funding, and then 15% came from YouTube Premium subscriptions, and then the rest was just the percentage coming from YouTube Shorts. So it was like that dollar or whatever. I think it's going to be really interesting to continue to track these percentages over time, just based on conversations I've had with other creators around my size. I think that there is an opportunity to perhaps make a little bit more money from fan funding once you start to really foster that community and build connections with the people that are watching your YouTube content. Now, let's get into the real tea and talk about which of my actual videos made me the most money. And so as you can see from the screenshot here, my top performing content was a live video that I did, the video I did about Cults, MLM, and coaching, the video I did critiquing a MSNBC video about life coaching, my NLP deep dive, and then another live video that I did with my friend DC. So what it's important to note here is that many of the higher performing videos, particularly the top two here, have such a high monetary value because I did receive fan funding while I was making those videos. So that was people, you know, giving me super chats, super stickers, or joining my channel membership. Now, if we look at my highest paying video from purely YouTube AdSense, it's actually the third video on the list here, which is the life coaching critique of the MSNBC video. And with that video, I made $9.69 from AdSense alone. Well, that's not entirely true. I made $7.83 from ads and then $1.86 from YouTube Premium. So anyone that pays for YouTube Premium that watched my video I get a portion of their subscription fee. And so to give you a little bit of context of how many views this video had, at that time it had about 1,200 views. And so hopefully that can kind of give you a little bit of insight into like how many views on a video makes how much money. However, it's really important to note that this varies significantly channel to channel, but also video to video, because the amount of money you make from ads on your video is actually dependent on your CPM, which is cost per mil or cost per thousand. And it's how much advertisers pay for every 1,000 views on your video. And then as a creator, you receive a certain rate, so a certain portion of that amount for the actual views. So let's say the CPM is $12. As the creator, I might only receive 6 of those $12 because YouTube has to take their cut as well. And so the reason why I think it's really important to note that this can vary so drastically is like, even if you look at the numbers that I put up on the screen here, I've noticed that with my content alone, it can vary sometimes as low as $6.50. But then on another video be as high as almost $60. So again, everything I share is kind of just like a generalization for someone who is a smaller creator with around 1,500 followers. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much. I wanted to just share a little bit about how you can help your favorite creators on YouTube if that's something that you're interested in. And there are a few different free and paid options that you have available. So obviously, if you're like me, you're likely subscribed to multiple different channels and you probably don't watch every single piece of content that those creators put out. That's okay, you don't have to. I'm not gonna tell you that you have to watch every single one of my videos. What is helpful though is that if a video pops up on your homepage, if you at least click on it and then like the video, YouTube tracks something called a click-through rate, which essentially just tracks how often people see the video and then click through to actually watch the video. And if your click-through rate is higher, it is more likely to show up on other people's feeds as well. And then obviously other ways you can support, you can like the video, you can comment on the video. Those are all things that reaffirm in the algorithm that this content is actually of interest to people. And so as a creator, the more views we get on a video, the more money we have the opportunity to potentially make. And then lastly, for those that have the means and the funds available, tools like super thanks, super chat, memberships, etc. are also ways that you can support your favorite creators here on YouTube. Now, someone did comment on one of my videos last week and asked how they can donate money without having to pay the like 30% fee that YouTube holds. So again, if you were to give me a $10 super thanks, for example, I might only see $7 of that donation because YouTube takes their portion. So as per your request, I have put a Ko-Fi link in all of my videos, which is essentially where you can just buy me a coffee for $5. And Ko-Fi doesn't take any fees from those donations. All that being said, I do want to say thank you so much for watching my videos, for supporting my content. I couldn't do this without you, and I am so grateful to have you here. I'm also happy to answer any questions you have about my YouTube monetization journey, any kind of like pay transparency questions. I am all ears. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I will leave you with this video right here next. Bye!